Afternoon YouTube, and welcome to Porsche Minor Mechanics. It's another Sunday afternoon. God, I love Sundays. And I thought after one of the issues over the PSM thing, which we won't really talk about right now, was I did have squeaky brakes and they were beginning to really irritate me. So I decided to have a look into it and take the front apart, and to my disappointment, should we say, I found that I had one of these. When you take I've taken the caliper right off the car. It was the only way I was going to do it. So basically, when the caliper is on the car like that, there is a plate with two little pistons that slot inside the brake pistons like this. I'll just show you there. You see the two holes there? That's those there. They slot in like that, and your brake shoe then sits on top of that. I removed one without any problem whatsoever. I can feel brake fluid leaking out of the caliper. The other one, the piston, said piston, big one, was stuck inside the piston of the caliper. So there's very little room in there. You know, you've got a gap like that. It's a Phillips screw head on it, namely those two there. So I decided I couldn't, you know, you can't get a screwdriver in there. I'm like, oh my God, am I going to undo it, whatever. So in the end, I used my blowtorch, and I took one of my little Phillips screwdrivers, heated the end up, bent it over, with an idea of slotting that in between. Hang on, I'm going to show you because I've gone this far, so I might as well. With an idea of slotting it in between into said screw hole. Anyway, the screw was beginning to round off. It was solid in there. It wasn't coming out. So basically what I did, I removed the caliper, and basically by blocking off these two and this one here, used, before I disconnected the brake pipe to it, used the pedal to push the piston out as far as it would come, and then I basically removed the piston, and then I was able to get a decent fitting on top of the caliper, which enabled me with this piston sitting in the big piston. It enabled me to get a decent sized screwdriver on it, which was fine. I managed to get the screw out, but then what I did, I can't really show you, but I put the screw's quite long, so I screwed the screw back into this little piston here, so it was sitting proud about that much. And then I was able to get a pair of grips on it, and then with a hammer gently tap around the outer edge, because you don't want to damage that piston, because that's a water airtight seal to stop the fluid leaking. I was able to tap round and get it drawn out, and sure enough, yes, it was corroded as however. And so I've cleaned them all up, and I'm going to grease them all up again and put them all back in, and then I'll now have to bleed the brakes as well. So that's it for the moment. I'm going to start reassembling. I thought it would take 5 minutes. I'm going to start reassembling, give the caliper a clean up, because I've got brake fluid everywhere, and obviously I've got to bleed the system. So that's where I'm at. So fingers crossed. I found the plate, the metal spring plate that sits across the top of the pads where the pin rolls over. There was a bit of rubbing on the backs of the brake shoe, so I wonder whether that had anything to do with it. But I think it's probably the fact that piston was solid inside the brake system, and it was unable to move, so it was obviously not retracting properly. Maybe that's where my squeak was coming from. Anyway, I'm going to crack on, get it back in. I'll give you some more information in a few moments. Here we are on the road test. I've only done the front left hand side, curb side, and I'm not so sure they weren't both squeaking, but still I'm not going to go far because I think I've got to do the other side. Hopefully not, but still. Oh well, here we go. Set traffic lights. The car that just keeps on giving. Right, okay, I've got to do the driver's side. Bleeding up was a challenge. For some reason, my software, it's an you can do an electronic bleed on Porsches like you can BMWs, etc. And I got it to do the system. I got it fired up, and it was doing its thing. But would fail to do the left hand side front, which was the one I had in bits. So I ended up doing it initially the old fashioned way, releasing the nipple, depressing the foot pedal, keeping it there, nipping it up backwards and forwards, and kept topping up the reservoir. But yeah, and then I plugged it in again and it acknowledged it and it was fine. So yeah, the brakes feel fine. I'm just going to literally go back now and take the other side off before it pours down the rain and see if I can at least put that one to bed. Right, it's not looking like I'm going to have to take the caliper off after all. I've got those two plates out. This is the inside one. Came out with relatively ease, but you can see how it's corroding up and it locates inside there. You can see how rusty that piston is inside. And the other side, which was the outside, far worse. I had to really juggle that one to come out. So that's what I'm going to do, clean those up, spray out the pistons, make sure they're nice and clean, and put them all back together again. What a result. I didn't want to have to go through all that palaver again, and it doesn't look like I've got to. Superb. There they are, all cleaned up, giving them a good clean up. I think next time I do the brake shoes, I will change these because they're getting a little bit tired, I believe. Right, I'm going to grease them up, put them back in the holes. Okay, there you can see the last one just sitting there waiting to go in. Fortunately, with the pads removed and the caliper in place, you can get these out. There's just enough room between here and here. That one's in. I put a nice coat of very high temperature brake grease on it, and then they should just literally, they've got to go in squarely, but they should literally go in nice and easy, and also be able to move about in and out nice and freely, which they couldn't do before. So let's hopefully discover that that's my brake squeal. Well, here we go, video number 2. Both sides done now. See what we get. Yeah, fortunately that one wasn't as bad. The inner pistons both came out intact on the little plate, unlike the other one, but they were heavy, they were stiff and tight. So here we go. Anything on this one, I've got to stop at some lights. Ooh. Yeah. I never believe it the first time. I'll give it a little run around the block, see if that's cured it. Like I say, next time I'm going to replace all the hardware on the front. It looks like, obviously I've not changed the front pads on this car. I bought it, what, 18 months ago, 15 months ago, and it came after it had, I got it, and the front brakes and the calipers front and rear had all been renewed. Like I say, I believe they replaced the rear calipers, but left the rotors, the fronts were done complete, calipers and rotors and pads. So I've obviously had them all off for a good clean up and put them all back together again through the winter and replaced all the rear running gear. The fronts, you know, like I say, they're only done 18 months ago. She's only done about 4,000 miles, so there's not a huge amount of wear on either part. But it looks to me like when they did the calipers, they haven't changed the inner assembly, the hardware. They've used the old hardware to save a few quid. I think the hardware kit's about 80 quid. It's not cheap. So, but still, I'm going to do a little to a gentle. It's normally a gentle stop where they start howling. Let's see what we got. To there we go. Oh, do you know what? I think I might have done it. Okay, that's good. Another quick thing on the PSM. I replaced the steering wheel sensor. Still had the fault coming up. Was getting a module communication error coming up as well, which now my mind's going. There are two main modules. One is situated, I was told one was situated under the driver's seat. The other module is situated in the front, on the left hand side, just behind the carpet. So it's not a tricky job. Now I wanted to have a look at those, which I've done, just to A, check their location, and B, to get part numbers from them. Now when I've gone under the front seat, you need to remove, ideally you need to remove the 4 bolts. There's 2 bolts at the front on the slide rails and there's 2 bolts at the back. You need to remove both of those, and just enables you to either lift the seat up on the rear and push it back a little bit. It's situated at the front of the seat on the ground. I was able to get a good look at it, but after checking it out, the part numbers and everything else, they're all original, but the one under the seat is the telephone module. Now I don't know that it does anything else. It's quite a big bit of kit, but that's what it is. It's a telephone module. So I thought, oh well, it's not that, excuse me, I haven't got telephone issues and I don't use my telephone on the old system anyway. The front one is what they call the front control unit. It's got a, if I remember rightly, it's got a blue plug socket on it and a grey one, and that mounts just behind the carpet on the left hand side as you're facing the front. That one is a more of a communications module, so I've earmarked one, and I thought new, I think they're about 400 quid new, but I found a second-hand one and I managed to get it for £70. But when I took both modules, accessed both modules and got the part numbers, what I also did was I unplugged them, gave them a spray up with some MAF cleaner that evaporates, no moisture. Everything looked all right. There was nothing really untoward. So I've taken them all apart and put them all back together again. And dare I say it, I've not had, excuse me, I haven't got time for joyriding really. I've not had a PSM fault since. So I also did the fuse. I pulled the fuse for the instrument cluster, and that's reputedly supposed to reset it. I didn't have any malfunctions on the instrument cluster, but that's obviously where the reading was coming from. I checked all the ground wires for the modules, and basically just put it all back together again. And like I say, since then it's been going really well. So the only thing I have noticed that is that now my cruise control isn't working, and I don't honestly know why that is, so I'm going to give that a little. But I did have the clutch stop switch out, you know, the switch on the clutch pedal for depressing to start the car, and that also is responsible for the cruise control. No, it's not working. I've just tried to set it now. Don't know why. The other thing that I might have something to do with is the instrument module, the cluster module behind the wheel. So I got the part number for that. So I'm going to leave it for now. I'm not worried about the cruise control. I'm just going to see how it performs. You know, maybe by unplugging things and cleaning them up. I left them unplugged for 10-15 minutes. Might have done some form of reset, I don't know. But like I say, the PSM fault, I hate to say it twice, but I'm sitting at 35 mile an hour now. It has not materialised. So personally, it's about leaving well alone. So, oh, did I hear a squeak then? Maybe not. Trouble is now I'm listening. You know, I'm going to do another little slow stop. Nope, it's quiet as a mouse. Super. So yeah, I'm going to leave well alone and see how we get on. I'm going to look into the cruise control. It's not that I use it. I know it did work. It's not that I use it, and I'm not worried about it not being there. It's just because it's there and it's not working, irritating me a little bit. So yeah, we'll look into that. But yeah, for now I'm going to leave well alone. I seem to have shut my brakes up for the time being. Everything's working well. The PSM fault is behaving itself. No signs of that yet. We've still got our road trip coming up. We probably, because of restrictions, we probably won't get to Nürburgring to do the Nürburgring now in Germany, but we are going to do, I think it's the East Coast 500 up in Scotland. That's a safer bet. So that's a big trip to plan that, because it's obviously a long old run, and we're going to visit Stirling and some other places as well. There's some nice places up there to have a look at, take the drone, etc. But more about that as time goes on. But anyway, for now, enjoy your Sunday evening, and thanks for watching. Catch up with you soon. Like and subscribe. Love you lots. Take care. Porsche Minor Mechanics. I nearly forgot who I am. Signing off. Bye for now.